those who don't know, this year is an election year in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is based on two parties. You got what is PPD, which is Partido Popular Democrático, and PNP, is Partido Nuevo Progresista. And then you have PIP, which is Partido Independentista. So for the past centuries, I wouldn't use centuries, decades, these two parties, PNP and PPD, have ruled Puerto Rico. The only time that Puerto Rico has ever seen good in his history was when Pedro Rosselló, the father, was the governor of Puerto Rico, and that's only because Bill Clinton was president of the United States, and Bill Clinton, our economy was good. If our economy was good, Puerto Rico's economy was good. You know, at that time he implemented Medicaid. He did a train that we have now it's called Tren Urbano, which is absolute garbage. I'm not saying it was garbage. No one basically used it, but his administration had a lot of corruption, a lot, like most administrations do. And the people of Puerto Rico are in a 72 or even probably more $1 billion debt because the inept work of all these senators that have become corrupt and have stolen from Puerto Rico under the governor's nose, whether it's a woman, where we at that time we had one woman governor, or whether it was a man. With either government, those two political parties have been corrupt to the core. And then we have a $72 million bond. I'm talking about a $72 billion deficit, and you wonder why? Because everything is being sold. Everything is to the bond shareholders. But let me reiterate back to the bond shareholders, because a lot of people don't know something about Puerto Rico's bonds. Everybody blames the bond shareholders for what happened in Puerto Rico, and I don't blame the bond shareholders. The bond shareholders, I blame the government, because when they did these bonds, they made them that if you bought these bonds were secure. They were backed up by the government, and you was going to be the first one to be paid. So who's not going to buy that type of bond that is guaranteed that you're going to get your money back? And no matter what crisis the government is, the first thing they're going to give is your money back. So they're going to say yes. So the bond shareholders, they want their money. So then you get leaders like Rosselló, you get leaders like Acevedo Villar, you get leaders like Padilla, you get leaders like Pierluisi, who do nothing for the country, who do nothing for the island, and just take, and that's how you get a $72 billion deficit. Our hospital infrastructure is horrible, right? We went through a hurricane, and mind-wise, you would think if you go through a hurricane, let's infrastructure better our hospitals. They didn't put no solar system in the hospitals in case something goes wrong. They're putting no good generators. Our doctors are leaving. Our specialty doctors are leaving. They only so many specialty doctors because they're leaving. They live in Puerto Rico because it's horrible. The pay is not good. The system is not good. You got one big hospital in Puerto Rico, which is called Centro Medico, and the reason they send you there is because if you go to one of the other hospitals in your hometown and something happens to you there, you can sue the hospital. But if you go to Centro Medico, you cannot sue Centro Medico. So they send everybody there. So you go to the emergency room, you go to the hallway, and you see people lying down there waiting to get attended. And yet the state, the island of Puerto Rico, the governors of Puerto Rico, the senators of Puerto Rico don't think to themselves, let's build more hospitals. Let's build another hospital. Let's make other hospitals that we already have better. Like every time, like Ponce has one, Mayagüez has one, Humacao has several of them, San Juan has several of them. That's better because some of those hospitals that I mentioned in those places are private, but the public ones are in shambles. But you don't see the government do anything about that. Our health system is corrupt. Our education system, don't even think about it. This year alone, our education system, the United States government has sent Puerto Rico its largest funds ever. Puerto Rico is sitting on a lot of funds of the United States, and they have not fixed any, and when I say not, has fixed any of the schools. They haven't upgraded it. They had no air conditioning. Kids got no books. Teachers are always absent for whatever reason it may be. But yet, the other day there was a whistleblower who said that the payroll for the education system only on people, and we're talking about people of confidence, because there's a such thing as personas de confianza in Puerto Rico. It's a special position that they give you, that you're the Department of Education or whatever it may be. You can hire a certain amount of people that you can provide them, and they get paid for that. That nomination, that payroll alone on 20-something employees that do nothing is $900,000 a month. You don't even have to show up to work, and you're still making between $4,000 and $5,000 a month. The governor knows this, but does he do anything? No. There are people who are coming from here, from the United States or other country, going to buy land in Puerto Rico, which is nothing wrong with that. But instead they get an incentive if they open up a business, because that's the way the law was stated a few years ago. If you come from the States and you open up a business in Puerto Rico and you're there for a year, you pay no taxes. And then after that year, you don't even have to stay there. All you gotta do is just come there once a year, stay there 5 or 10 minutes and leave. But one of the things that you have to make work for the local people, which none of them have. Jake Paul's one of them. Jake Paul goes there. He's not there because he likes Puerto Rico. He's there because his money is tax free. Okay, but yet the locals that are there have to pay taxes. And why am I bringing this up? It's because the people of Puerto Rico are tired of the same shit going over and over again. But I only blame the people of Puerto Rico for being in the situation that they're in now. Why? Because they vote by party. They vote because my mother is PPD, so I'm gonna vote PPD without even looking at the credential of the person. My dad was PNP, so I'm gonna go vote PNP, regardless of the credential, right? And that is why our country, our island is the way that it is. That's why it's in shambles, because the people are not voting with their conscience. The people are not vetting these people out. I'm gonna vote for him. You got right now. Lucy is the worst. He knows that things are going on. Every single day there's a shootout between PJs to PJs. There's projects. They don't give a shit. You think the government gives a fuck about these people's lives? No, they don't. But yet every 4 years, because Puerto Rico presidents can vote, you see these governors go to the prison system and ask each gang leader who they want these gang leaders to vote for this party or that party. That's the way it is in Puerto Rico. But yeah, our children suffer. 60% of the population in Puerto Rico is on welfare. Not because they want to, because there's no fucking jobs. There's nothing to do. To get a permit in Puerto Rico is a pain in the ass. But it's easy for a foreigner. Back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken, then President Clinton told Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico had a good incentive, that if all these pharmaceutical companies, these big companies, didn't have to pay federal taxes. So Bill Clinton said, I'm going to give you 10 years. In 10 years, this is going to go away. So the people of Puerto Rico said, the governors and senators, they said, don't worry, Puerto Rico's not going to do nothing. And if they do, they're gonna give us some sort of incentive. Came 10 years, it was taken off. Do you think the people of Puerto Rico, the government of Puerto Rico, implemented or try to implement a similar law so this way these entities cannot go away? No, they didn't. So they all left. All these factories left Puerto Rico, leaving us unemployed, leaving a lot of people unemployed. Our system is corrupt, and in this year, if you guys don't decide to vote besides PNP or Popular, we're going to be in big problem. Just because you vote PEEP, which means independence, that doesn't mean Puerto Rico is going to become independent. If you vote with another affiliation, that doesn't mean that's going to happen or what they think. Vote properly. You must vote. You know, if I was in Puerto Rico, I would definitely vote people. You got people like Molina who goes out there and exposes the corruption in Puerto Rico. Exposes the corruption in Puerto Rico while people are shooting at him and his family. You have people like Alexander Lugaro, who has exposed corruption in Puerto Rico, who has ran for governor of Puerto Rico, and she was about to win, but because she said she's an atheist, she lost a lot of votes. What does the belief have to do with anything? You want what's best for your country. You want what's best for your people, and that's what she was trying to do. You go to Puerto Rico, the gallon of milk in Puerto Rico is $6. People, the most thing that we have in Puerto Rico is cows. Meat is expensive. I don't want to hear about because of the Jones Act. I don't want to hear about that. Because Joe Biden said he was not going to take care of the Jones Act for the get-go. So that I don't want to hear about that. But we have the resources to sustain ourselves at certain levels, and we don't do that. Okay? We're supposed to put these kids, which we have a program where these kids can go, and the government of Puerto Rico pays for their trade school, but they choose not to. They choose the fucking drug game, and this is where Puerto Rico at one point is bad. You saw that cop that got killed in Puerto Rico just the other day. He got killed and he got mishandled, and they abused him. And the commission of Puerto Rico went to the PJs and said, we're not leaving this, because that's what happened. Said, we're not leaving this PJ until we find them. We're not leaving this PJ until we find them. Then he said to the people, don't kill them, give him to us. And what happened? And I even put it on Facebook. I said, watch him show up in 24 hours. The leader of that drug spot in that project was not going to let anything happen because he's losing money. So he had to make a phone and say, where are these guys? And they were hiding in another PJs. So they called. They say, yo, they're over here, and the cops went over there. So they showed so much. Now, granted, it's a loss. My condolences to the officers of that family, but they showed so much emphasis on finding the killer of this man, of this cop, that a few days ago a young lady died brutalized, and they still haven't found the killer of him. About her, they haven't even emphasized. And there are a lot of killings in Puerto Rico. They haven't even found the murder of these people. But you emphasize on a police officer, and you decide to stay on that PJ. Why don't you stay on the PJs all the time? You know who the drug dealers are. Why don't you kick them out? Why don't you fucking kick them out? Why don't you fucking build a big ass fucking jail? And you all these drug dealers, and you don't let them see the day of light. Anyone who's selling fentanyl gets caught selling fentanyl, automatically should get life. I don't give a fuck what it is. But you don't do that. You want the people of Puerto Rico to suffer for every 4 years. They can vote for you. It's time for Puerto Rico to vote different. If Puerto Rico wants a difference, si Puerto Rico quiere una diferencia y quiere algo diferente, pues mira, dejen de estar votando PNP o Popular, porque ellos no van por un igual. Si tú votas por Dalmau, no significa que Dalmau va a ser Puerto Rico independiente, porque ese es un proceso que tiene el Congreso de los Estados Unidos. And that's not going to happen. All right? Just I said in Spanish that they can vote for Dalmau, who is from an independent party, and some people think that, if we vote for Dalmau, you're going to make us independence. No, it doesn't happen that way. That has to go through Congress of the United States, and the Congress of the United States is not going to allow it. All right? Plus, it has to go to a plebiscite, and that takes time. Puerto Rico needs to change. Puerto Rico needs to change these senators. Puerto Rico, I mean, if Puerto Rico was to audit itself, we never have, and I would give credit to Puerto Rico if it did, you will see the corruption that they like. From the governor now to Jennifer Gonzalez, who wants to become the next governor. She's another corrupt woman. All of them, they don't want nothing for Puerto Rico. They want state for Puerto Rico. They're selling the PNP that Puerto Rico under their leadership is going to be state, never has become a state, and it never will be a state. So we should stop dreaming of Puerto Rico becoming a state. We should start doing what we need to do. Is we're supposed to be having our school education. First, we should have a health system up to par, one of the best of the Caribbeans. That's what we should do. We should have our educational system. We should have schools full of air conditioning, full of security guards. Right? The teachers be up to par with books, computers, everything. Police officers should be more. Police officers with the teachers should be paid more. Police officers should have more to say. So the police officers, policemen do not go into the PJs. They don't go because they know they get shot at. So why waste your time? They only go there when they're chasing somebody. But those PJs are open. No security guard. They used to have security guard. They killed them. They had the United States, the National Guard. They took them out. Take out the leaders of that group and bring them out. Bring those people out and say, you're not going to do this. Just do like what Bukele did and take all these leaders out and put them in jail. I don't care if the civil rights union says, oh, you're violating the civil rights. I don't give a fuck. These people violated people's rights when they killed them. So they deserve no civil rights. None at all. And you want Puerto Rico to be good? Puerto Rico makes commercial how beautiful the island is, because it is a beautiful island. We have beautiful people, but we have corrupt politicians who gives two shits about you or me or anyone on the island. And I'm telling you, you guys, you think it's bad now? Keep voting these people in, and you're gonna be with no island.